Clem, stop drinking the paint water, buddy. Just give me a second while I get everything set up, guys. All right. Sorry, just a little bit of a different setup today, so I'm just getting everything situated. And we've got 2 work boys to work on for Orctober. Not sure which one I want to start with, but we'll figure it out when we get working. It might be this guy, although I like the wolf cape. Let's go with the Axe Fiend for now. Now, I didn't reprime these guys. I just kind of pulled them right out of the box. So we'll see how well this contrast paint sticks. And yeah, I'm using contrast for these guys. I don't feel like sitting down for too long today and taking too much time. And with orcs, well, you know they're just kind of going to get beat up and taken off the table anyway, so... you hear any futzing around in the background, Clem is very full of beans today. So I do apologize. Cats are going to do what cats are going to do. And Clem does not have the brain cell today. He had it the other day, though. I was very proud of him. And I apologize in advance if my delays are a little, if my replies are a little delayed. I am working out at the kitchen table versus at the desk, so I'm on a laptop versus hardwired. So instead of reading the stream comments from my phone camera, because I actually stream through my phone, I have it open on a separate computer so I can see what you guys are seeing real time. So if I'm delayed, that's why. Just deal with it. Not a lot of skin showing on this guy. I guess there are little holes in his pants. I think. Right there. Or maybe that's a patch on his pants. I think that's a patch. Alright, let's get some of this brown contrast over top too. I don't like just straight green for orcs. I don't know. It just bothers me a little bit. One of my favorite things about painting minis is there are literally like 1,000 different shades of just black, which makes my little heart happy. You're not late at all. I only started, let me look at the 10 minutes and 28 seconds ago. You are just fine. How's everyone's week been? Mine has been oh so wonderful. Oh, that was his ear. I guess we'll just have to paint over that later. Oh, well. Ooh. I don't want to say I do like a good hag, but I do like a good hag. That's actually my husband's favorite monster in D&D. I saw some really good prints on Etsy for some hags, and they're gnarly. I hope you do well. That's exciting. Is this your first contest, or do you have a couple under your belt so far? Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Pumpkin Beholder's pretty solid. I haven't entered one yet. There's nothing really locally, at least that I've seen. I thought about looking to see if PAX Unplugged had one this year down in Philly, but I don't think they're holding a miniature contest. I could be wrong. I could have just not navigated their website right, but one of these days I'll get into one. That's not bad. Now, if you say runner-up out of, like, 4, then I understand. But that's not bad at all, dude. I have the utmost confidence that you'll be top 3 this year. Absolutely. Now, if you went and made your sacrifice to the hag in the woods, you'd have a guaranteed first. Let's be honest. If you didn't do your groundwork, that's on you. Why is this guy's lock so rebellious? All right, what color should we make his cloak, guys? I know it's supposed to be fur, but it's D&D. You can have fur of any color. Let's be real. I do have the wizard's orb. If an orc can ponder an orb. I could do this with like a yellow dry brush. Bright green dry brush. Thoughts? Make them a neon rave orc. That might be what we're doing. Just make them bright as hell. Oh, man. Because my favorite thing, purple. Ooh, a displacer beast. Oh. So, Wizard's Orb with purple base or purple base with Wizard's Orb? I know, I just said the same thing. Dry brush Wizards with purple base or Wizard's base with purple dry brush. I don't want to change his skin up too much. I'm probably going to stick with the same one. But just give him, like, rave attire. Like, a freaking glow stick axe or something. I don't know. Oh, God. It's been that kind of a week. Purple dry brush. Oh, I have so many purples. Look at you guys coming out with the ideas. This is why I do this. My Twilight purple. I got my Witchcraft purple. I also have... That's an air, so it's a little thin, but I could still use that for dry brush. Either way, let's crack open this Wizard's Orb. That sounds awful. Now, the last time I tried to use this, it was ridiculously thin. But it has been a hot minute, so hopefully it's thickened up a little bit. This is so gnarly. So the reason I'm sitting out here is my husband's playing some Enshrouded with one of his friends. So I'm like, you know, like you guys are going to be chatting, so you just stay in there. And I told him I was painting orcs, and I can't wait for him to come out in like 2 hours and wonder what in the hell happened. I'm like, here, hon, just work him onto the table somehow. You know, I know you didn't know that Strahd was hosting some raves in the basement, but you know, those torture chamber cages are actually just a little bit mirrored glass, so it works out. I don't know why, but the Wizard's Orb color continuously makes me think of the 90s Dixie cups with the, like, the squiggle on the side. It's the teal and the purple and the... Is it blue or is it just teal and purple? I'm not sure. But it's pretty close to what I feel the color is, and that's what it always makes me think of. It was on sale when I got it, and I had to... I did buy it simply because it's called Wizard's Orb. I will not be ashamed of that fact. Oh, and total annoying shout out to the little bro. If you're watching right now, literally just leave a comment. Just hop in the chat. All these people are super nice. I know you were a little anxious before, but he started, I won't say he started painting. I think he did a little bit of painting before, but he came over the one weekend and was working on some Tyranids. And I had questions about Tyranid anatomy and had no answers from him. But he's getting into it. He's doing pretty good. He's starting out pretty good. That's true. There is no shame in showing off your wizard worms. That's on the Boondocks OnlyFans, just to help make rent a little easier. He did paint up some bug boys, and he's learning about color mixing, and it's great because he kept asking me if I had specific shades, and I'm like, well, no, but if you mix this with this and you know, thin it out a little bit and use a lighter brush, you'll get it. And it's interesting to see someone else learning that, because you know, like I was one of those kids that was in art class in school but was never actually good at traditional art. So I still at least had the mixing background, but he not necessarily as much. So it's interesting to see him finding his way. All right, let's get our smaller brush here. If it doesn't roll off the table. Stop fighting me. There we go. One of my favorite things to watch at 3 a.m. while I'm not sleeping, other than the entrancing carpet cleaning and rug cleaning videos, which if you guys haven't seen it, highly recommend, is there's the guy with an oil palette, I mean, just surrounded with paint, and someone gives him a color and they're like, yeah, it just matched exactly, and he just pulls it off every time. There's some people that are just obscene with how their brain processes it. It's excellent to watch. I'm a sucker for it. That's true. I am really happy. There's a lot to reference, and you know, I try to remind him I'm not the only person out there that paints minis. There's a whole bunch of channels teach you tips and tricks, because again, he's mostly doing Tyranids right now. But if you ever just get something more mech, you know, learning how to do rust effects, or if you know, like people have the heat weapons and they'll heat up a screwdriver and poke it through the armor so it looks like it's gone through. You know, learning to put that white base down before you go in with your brights to make it, you know, that glowing effect. And just the options. I mean, when it comes to paint or producers, all of that, it's kind of awesome. So a lot of this shade together almost makes me think about wintergreen mints. Not spearmint, which is far superior, but wintergreen. It's like that weird, I feel like fake spruce Christmas kind of green. See if I can, there we go. But no, I'm hoping he sticks with it. I have a couple of things I'd like to get him for Christmas if he does. And I know he's probably asking for an airbrush. And Bud, if you're watching, I'm not getting you an airbrush. A, y'all got 4 cats up there, and airbrush and cat hair does not mix. B, just a little bit more practice with your regular brush work, and maybe for like next year's birthday we could do an airbrush. Maybe. I had to get my airbrush as a birthday gift. I didn't even buy mine, so. That, and there's also something about giving a teenage boy an air compressor, and, you know, my immediate thought goes to, let's soup up a potato gun with the air compressor, and I don't need to give a teenage boy one of those. So let's work on our brush work. Yeah, he does want the cheat codes right away. Exactly. I'm like, no. You gotta learn how to wet blend the whole way. That's the only way you're getting a gradient, bud. See, I love these capes, and the only thing I hate about them is they actually form to the body right, and it's a pain to get up towards the shoulders. Like, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just special, but especially when it's grooved, like something like this where it's supposed to be like that fur texture, it's such a pain. It's such a pain. I'm not gonna swear. All right, so I'm probably gonna make the little fur tufts on his boots match the cape, and then hopefully the cape's dry enough to get some dry brushing on there. I tried playing Bully, and when I got it, it just would not run on my laptop, and then I never went back to it. I always watch Call Me Kevin play it on YouTube, though. He's a freaking riot. Oh, curious question for you guys. How often do you use wet palettes? I have one, but I really only use it if I know I'm going to be painting like the whole weekend. Mostly because I just hate setting it up and then hoping that it doesn't get knocked over or something. But like right now, I looked and it's like that black that I used for his hair is already starting to get the film on it. It's like, geez, that dries so fast. And again, it's because we're in a spot that's a little bit better ventilated than normal with a bit more light. So it is drying up faster. But like, I wouldn't get a wet palette up for just the next couple hours of painting. It just seems tedious, over the top. I don't know. That's why I was wondering, like, do you guys just for your regular sessions use them? Or do you use them at all? Am I odd in the fact that I do? Yeah, and that's always my fear. Like, if I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna paint all weekend. Like, let's get this set up. And then I get it set up. And then I just don't paint the second day because whatever happens, you know? And then it just sits for a month, which hopefully wouldn't happen, but I never know. Oh yeah, like homemade one, like using like the sponge and then the parchment paper on top. I think I'm gonna go with the Zeros purple. I think that'll look good next to each other. We'll find out. Either way. Might took too much off. Let's see. Freaking yes. The fidget, what are they called? Trays? I don't know. But yeah, they're like they're like in different shapes, like frogs and circles and squares, and you can pop the little circle. I saw somebody do a video of that once. I'm like, oh man, I gotta get one of these, and then I just never got around to it. So that actually works well. God damn, I gotta go get one tomorrow, I guess. Everyone's keeping secrets from me. I'm over here re-cleaning my old acrylic palette over and over again, even though it only costs $3 because I'm too cheap to get another one. I just clean it. Look at all that dust coming off my dry brush. I need to clean it. So much shame, so much. Dirty brushes, no popper palettes. Popper palettes, that's what I'm gonna call them now. There we go, get a little extra on there. Heavy dry brush like it's 1980 over on this side of the internet. We don't mess around with none of that dainty light-handed. Nope. So, anybody else getting Sully from Monsters Inc. vibes? I'm not hating. I think I think that's great. Oh. Empty pill cards. Huh. Yeah, I have to work tomorrow, but after that, I'm probably gonna go and pick some up and check it out. See how I feel about them. Yeah, like this is just, I guess, Mike Wazowski's evil uncle. Since they're both green. Yeah, I got a little bit of overspray there. That's okay. Sully picked the wrong closet. Oh, I love you guys. Oh, someone will 100% notice, and I have absolutely no problems with that. What I'll do for the inside, because obviously I can't dry brush. I can try and get a little bit, but I won't get a lot. I'll go in, I have a purple wash I'll probably go over it with. What type of creature would... I mean, I almost kind of want to say like a yeti. Although they do run into the abominable snowman in the movie. Hey, shark. Shark, we're taking audience recommendations for colors today, and we were kind of going with a rave vibe, but now we're looking with a bit more Sully from Monsters Inc. vibe. But we're all okay with that. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's totally acceptable. And I'm doing all right. It's been a hell of a week. Got work tomorrow, but right now we're just sitting down and enjoying our Orctober. All right, so he's got a skull strapped onto his shoulder. Do we want to go with regular skull color or something obscene by any means? While you guys are thinking, I'll do this wash on the inside of his cape. Cloak. Cape? Cape. I do have work tomorrow. So, my full-time job, I work as a program support assistant at a national cemetery. Part-time, I still do trade work as a funeral director. So embalmings, running funerals, things like that. Tomorrow, we are doing what we call outreach. So we'll be invited to events to go and speak and inform veterans on their benefits, particularly at national cemeteries. And I try to also talk to folks about how they can use funeral homes, but not necessarily need them for certain things, just because as a younger funeral director, I don't like seeing folks getting taken too much advantage of. So if I see places where vets can save money, I kind of help them with that. But usually we go to these outreach conventions and there's hundreds of people and 50% want to talk to us, 20% need to know where their uncle's buried in the cemetery, and the other 30 want to avoid us like the plague because they think we're bad luck. And they don't need to think about that yet, even though death comes for all of us. Of course funeral work, Shark. How do you think I'm so good at painting zombies and decomposing enemies? Come on. You should have known. Now, I did see we missed a couple of spots here on the bottom. I always feel ridiculous for going over the bottom pieces that are missed. Because he's sitting on the table like this. Nobody's going to see him. But I'm going to know. And that's where the problem lies. I'm not a necromancer. I want those bodies to stay firmly in the ground. While I do believe in reduce, reuse, and recycle, it's not my thing. I've smelled enough decomp. They can stay where they are. All right, so we've got blue, purple. I think regular skull color, bright orange armor. Any thoughts? I think that'd be ridiculous. I think that we just keep adding to the pile. I think that's the way to go. Rainbow Orc all the way. Let's do it. We should give him some neon highlights in his hair too. Like he sits down with the straightener and gets some bleach. Gets it ready before battle. I mean, those are some pretty lustrous locks. I'm sure he takes very good care about them. Yeah, it's definitely interesting, Shark. Some folks are much more open and accepting of talk about passing, and others want to just completely forget that it exists. And I always try to reinforce that while it's not necessarily a happy time, A, you can always rejoice in the person that lived and who they helped you be. And B, you can plan ahead for yourself to help those who are left behind. Because all in all, funerals are for those that are left behind. Now, granted, we think that those that have passed deserve, you know, their rite of passage into the afterlife, however anyone's culture or religious rites would see it. But in the end, it's to help the people left behind with their grief. So I always try to tell folks, if you're ready, if you're comfortable enough, you know, think through what you'd like, let your family know, work with your local friendly funeral director, and because then you don't have to worry about it. Nobody else has to worry about it. It's all already down on paper and good to go. And then I just look at it from the interesting side of, you know, embalming, preservation, how different cultures see things and do things and people's reactions to it. It's all super interesting to me. I always try to remind folks if they, so I check in families at work whenever they're there for services. And, okay, sidestep, I 100% told Steven, my husband, if I pass before him, he better put some of my ashes in some dice, because we make our own dice here. I'm like, and you're gonna roll, and I'm gonna give you ones every single time. But no, I'll have folks that come to check in, and you know, they start thinking about it, they start crying and tearing up, and I'm like, it's fine. And I'm like, look, you're having these fits, and they're looking down on you right now, telling you to get up and deal with it, and you're being ridiculous, because the folks we serve, they're all veterans. So at a national cemetery, you have to be a veteran or the spouse of or a dependent child in order to be buried out there. And especially if I'll crack a joke if I see that the deceased has my same birth month. I'm like, oh, you know, they were born then. Oh, they must be a pain, you know, coming from me. Or if I see it, I'm like, oh, your husband was a Marine. I'm so sorry. They're so awful to deal with. You know, like you just kind of buck them up a little bit because they're having, you know, one of the worst days of their life. Just to try and remember that it's a human experience, and that everybody will experience passing and work their ways through it, and just remind them that people are there with them, that they're not alone. And I think that's kind of people are always afraid of being alone. I think that's kind of the root problem with a lot of it. Yeah, look at how obscene this is. Oh my god, this is gonna be ridiculous. Sweet baby Jesus, that orange is bright. Yeah, I get you. My family is very, very similar. They're like, once I'm gone, like I don't need anything. Don't be messing over it. And a lot of folks accept that, you know, because so my family, some of them are religious, some of them aren't, that they're either going to be in a better place with the ones they loved, or they're still at least not going to have the problems they have now. So luckily, my family seems very accepting of what's to come. Not to say that they're ready to go now, you know, there's still a lot of things they want to do. But the fact that they're relaxed about it and they talk about it makes me very happy. And I'm sure having a funeral director in the family helps them with that. And yes, we will need a black light for this guy. This is going to be ridiculous. I love orcs. Orcs and half orcs are probably some of my favorite. But I mean, between D&D, Tolkien, Pathfinder, 40K, like Warhammer, everything's got orcs. I mean, I always joked I loved them so much just because the Marine Corps. Because if you were gonna make a Marine, I mean, it's either gonna be an orc or a half orc. You know, like it's just is what it is. That's my current character is a half orc barbarian. My husband jokes me, he's like, why would you play someone with like a lower int than yourself? Sometimes it's hard, especially like if you know the problem, like the answer to a problem, you can't answer it. And I'm like, I'm just playing a Marine, you know. I'm just playing the guys I was serving with. It's not too hard. But no, I like bigger primal beings. I'm not a big, you know, I mean, I'll paint elves and they'll be in my campaigns and things, but elves were never really fun to me. Humans are humans. I like monstrosities. I'm a huge, you know, kaiju Godzilla fan. I love werewolves over vampires. Like, see, I haven't gotten super into Warhammer. I think I need to, simply because the little bro wants to play, which means I'm going to need an army because I don't think the husband's going to play. and he's working with a little bit of social things right now. So I don't know how comfortable he would be playing with other guys that are, you know, down at the local game shop, which I think they would do great. I think they'd be very welcoming of a new player, especially a younger player. I just don't know how comfortable he would be. So, oh, you're in the middle of the werewolf vampire debate? Okay, sure. There's no middle. There's no middle. You're one or the other. Why would you want to, like, come on. Werewolves all the way. Like, the idea of the base root of the primal self, that humans are no better than that, versus, you know, the idea of longevity and the immortality. No, werewolves are always better. I mean, come on. Think of all the songs. Any werewolf song, and my husband will fight me, any werewolf song's better than any vampire song. I'm just saying. Yeah, okay, I will recognize vampire aesthetic. Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to cancel this stream now. All y'all picking vampire sides. I still remember being in middle school and Twilight getting popular. And everybody's like, do you prefer, like, are you werewolves or vampires? I'm like, oh, werewolves. I'm like, oh my God, see the Jacob? I'm like, who the hell's Jacob? Like, what do you, I never read any of it. It wasn't my thing. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, vampires and werewolves. And I'm like, oh no. This is not what I expected. And that's the only reason why I don't want to get super into Warhammer, is just how rapidly, if you restructure rulings, like how teams kind of become obsolete. Hopefully, and I don't want to play big time, you know, it's not going to be an average thing for me, but if I just get, like I said, one army so I can play with my brother and he can practice and, you know, get comfortable playing so that he can go out and play with other people. I mean, that's probably what I'll do. That, and it's also, you know, it's more things to paint, right? More practice. But just so he can, well, I guess we'd both be learning, but he can also learn the mechanics and things like that. So, but I'm not going to go out and compete or anything like that. Dear Lord, no. See, you can't use MTG for your argument for werewolves versus vampires. Come on, bud. I've never touched Magic. I had friends that played when I was in language school in the military, and they almost got me into it by like this much. Luckily, I said no. I fought the possible addiction. I did play the Harry Potter trading card game when I was in elementary and middle school, and then nobody else played it, so it was kind of out. I also have a whole lot of the Legends of the Five Rings cards for the deck. And the reason I like that is it's not like Pokemon or Magic or anything like that. The packs, you already know what's in them, so you can build it out. It's not, you know, the luck of the draw or stacking against other people, things like that. So Bolt Action, Shark, I know you said you were painting some of those. I was looking to get some of those for, well, hold on, my dad doesn't watch these. I was thinking about getting them for my dad for Christmas to paint some up and then play with him. We played Risk a lot when I was a kid. We played Axis and Allies. He was much more into like actual war gaming versus the fantasy or sci-fi stuff. So I was looking at picking up either some of that or back to the like Revolutionary era type ones. And he used to have all of the old lead minis for that. So when I started getting into this, he's like, oh, you know, he's just, you know, just ribbing. He wasn't actually like being a total jerk. He's like, oh yeah, I remember when I was a kid and I used to, you know, you're such a nerd painting all these minis, blah, 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 blah. And I want to be like, Dad, literally all you painted were these miniature Revolutionary and Civil War guys. Like, you got me into this. You used to have model trains. I remember building the model train track with you. Like, what are you talking about? Try Kill Team. I think he does have some Kill Team books. I'd have to see. His dad, my brother's dad, is my former stepdad. And his dad talks to him a lot more regarding some of his gaming and things like that, what he's looking into. They both play video games together. So I know more, he has more of a concept of what all rule booking he has. So I'll have to check that out. But I guess I'll have to see what I should pose against his Tyranids and have a good go. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. You know, it's so I'll rewind to go forward. I got my first heckler this week. Hello, how are you, David? He was saying that I couldn't sell a painted mini because of copyright, which I'm like, do you not know any commission work that folks do? Like, okay, interesting viewpoint. But like, if a giant company like Games Workshop, or I guess now Hasbro, owns Wizards of the Coast or whatever happened there, is losing some pennies, honestly, I'm not that worried about it. If this were, you know, a startup, first-time gaming company, absolutely I'm going to buy the official thing. If I'm not playing on table with other people, I'm just playing with my brother, I'll figure something out. All right, so we've got our neon orange. I think I'm just going to do regular brown for the leather straps, just so there's at least some neutrality. But axe heads, they should be bright. We thinking green or yellow, guys? I'm kind of split. Or pink. Do I have a pink? I don't know if I have pink. Oh, I do have magenta. War Games Atlantic. I don't have a ton, honestly. What do they produce? Just so I have a reference for the future. Even orcs need a Leroy Jenkins, all right? I mean, come on. Yeah, folks sell painted minis all the time. I mean, I have a guy that I served with, and he shifted over to Guard. He's going to send me all of his, what's the new BattleTech. He's sending me all of his BattleTech minis to paint and then send back to him. It's a commission paint request. So I want to talk to this guy and be like, okay, so because I'm painting them, like I'm paying for the painting fee. I'm not paying for I'm not charging for the figure. I'm not saying I made the figure. Historical and fantasy. Good thing I got my computer right over here. Yeah, can't say... I can't say any of their stuff is carried in my LGS. I might have to check them out, though. Say, a lot of stuff I usually end up picking up from the store, or I browse independent printers on Etsy, so... All right, magenta. Yeah, see, this is why you guys are here. To support the absolute ridiculousness Oh, Lord. This is why I can't have nice things. And again, I know I'm cheating with the contrast paints. It's been that kind of a week. I'm just going with it. I just can't wait to put this guy on the board and the boys just to be like, what are you, why? Like, just why? Oh, man. So I have a friend that's looking to get into gaming, tabletop. And she's never played before. And I think it'll be really good for her. And I was originally going to do a December one-shot, something like Krampus-y. But now maybe the group will just have to hunt this guy down and then have no problem finding him. And, oh man, I could make that really interesting. Like, actually make him a future orc that got somehow cast back in time. And oh, that's what I could do. I could do detailing on those little grooves. Make them almost like cyber axe. God damn, these are good ideas. This is so ridiculous, guys. Oh, Lord. All right, now this is going to make me ask the question. What is the most ridiculous or obscene thing that you guys have painted? Either for the board or as a nice little shelf sitter for your own enjoyment. The pumpkin beholder sounds like a really cool idea, though. I'm not gonna lie. That probably looks pretty sweet. All right, how dry are these guys? Come on. So David, you never followed up. What are your thoughts on the War Games Atlantic? Do you have any personal preferences? Any suggestions to get to try them out? Always open for new figures and new gear. And new opinions. Oh, that one's a little heavy. That's okay though. Oh, well, that's just gonna look like a blood drop. That's fine. See, good as new. Yeah, Shark, I've gotten a lot of minis from Etsy. I mean, between my large orc that's on my desk, that's 100 millimeter. The Strahd that I did in the video, the Beholder that I just did. I've been pretty pleased. Have you painted any of them, David? Are they relatively easy? Do they hold well? I won't say easy, but you know what I mean. Magenta everywhere. Hopefully this washes off my hands before work tomorrow. Otherwise, it's going to be a really interesting time talking about funerals. Scale is important to me. I will say for PCs, I do like them to be the 28 mil. However, For larger enemies, I'm okay if they end up looking a little bit larger. All in all, as long as they play fine, like on board, on grid, because we do use one by one grid, 1 inch by 1 inch. If the monsters are naturally bigger, if they're slightly bigger, I think it's fine. But for anything that is, I would say, human-esque, so halflings, elves, even orcs, like, I want them to all be the 28. Unless I just go and get a full restock of 32. But, I mean, that would just be a bit of a pain. I'll have to check out their goblins. My husband, because right now we pretty much get, like, the Whiz Kids, either the Nolzers or Pathfinder figures. He loves the Pathfinder ones simply because they have these just giant chonkin heads and look more comic-y and just ridiculous versus just, you know, little goblin guys. But I'll have to check them out for sure. And this is why I like new people. He just gave me a whole video idea and he didn't even know. That's one less idea I have to come up with on my own. All right, let's get some brown. Yeah, right? I still like metal minis though. I really do. I think those are pants. Yeah, they're pants. They're not. Yeah, they're pants. Now, I know some folks do get on later just because they are central or closer to West Coast and we're East Coast here. But I will probably still cut around 7:15-ish today. Even if we don't get this Orc Boy done, and that's simply because my work day starts at 6 tomorrow, so I'm gonna have to be up at 4 something. And I am a being that needs 8 hours of unconsciousness. I will not be useful to anyone if it's less than that. Yeah, it is. Well, I get up for work at like 4:15 to 4:30 every day, every morning. I get into work about an hour to 2 hours earlier than I have to, mostly because I've perfected this method called being efficiently lazy. I make sure I get all of my work done as early as possible. So I get in, there's nobody there, no phone ringing to bother me or anything like that. So like in that 2 hours, I probably get 85% of my work done. And then I can kind of slow roll the rest of the day. So if we do get phone calls or a lot of cases are coming in, I can put my attention towards that. And then technically my workday ends at 4:30, but starting at like 2, my stuff's pretty much done. So I'm just slow rolling it, you know, as best I can. But that's just personal preference because I also know that my brain absolutely works better earlier in the morning versus in the evening. Well, afternoon, evening, I would say. I can thank the Marine Corps for that. But even though it's an 8-hour workday on a Saturday, it is overtime pay for a Saturday. So can't complain too much. I mean, I'll still complain. Yeah, I don't like being up after the sun being up. And I'm one of those people, I'll get up and I'll get some things done around the house and then go back to bed for a nap. So like I'll take a nap from, I'll be like get up at 4:30 and then take a nap from like 8:30 to 9:45 or 10. And then so I'm just like leveled out. So I get a whole bunch of stuff done, and then I rest, and then I can slow roll and have time for hobbies. Because that also helps me if folks want to do things in the evening, since I'm not a night owl. That nap just kind of gives me a little buff. I might actually add some blue to those wraps on his boots there. I think that'll be pretty cool. Pretty cool. I am very excited, though, that I will now have an orc named Sullivan. Oh. Sullivan arrow catcher. Yes. Oh boy. All right, so like the little X's on the armor and the border, I think I should go like gray or black for that, or another color. I guess I could do like a forest green kind of. Black. See? I'm thinking black too. Maybe he just really likes Monsters Inc. and is a huge Philadelphia Flyers fan. And he just really doesn't know how to match his clothes. Like his mama let him dress himself since he was 2.5, and he never looked back. Yeah, I'd say my orcs, I usually do either like an earth tone, like black and earth tone, or I do red and gold. For some reason, like a deep maroon with gold accents and like white furs, I think is just perfect for an orc. I don't know why, but in my mind, it just, it sells it. That's probably what I've always gone with mine. It's either like the brown leathers armors or blood, I guess, because orcs. One of these days, maybe it'll be the next video, I really want to do a mini, and I'm sure you guys have seen it. Instead of like edge highlighting, they do edge lining. So, you know, they do the bright poppy colors for their miniature, and they do the edges and outline in black. So it almost looks like a comic style. Like, I kind of really like those, and I think they look better with mechs than actual, like, you know, like sci-fi mechs versus fantasy characters, but I still kind of want to give it a go. I think it'd be pretty cool. Bronze. Yeah, Shark. I'm a sucker. This is one of my favorite shades. I'm a sucker for it. It's the Screaming Bell, which I don't like supporting Citadel that much, but damn do I love that color. It's, with metals, I prefer it far more over golds and silvers. But obviously you can't use the same paint on everybody because then they all start to match and it doesn't look great. At least that's what people tell me. Clam, make good decisions. Please don't jump down while I'm painting. If you guys need to know, this little hellion up here. Clem. Hey. Clem. See, now he doesn't want to make any noise. He knows. He's just a nightmare. Orcs are about business. Damn right they are. Clam. Can you not knock everybody over? Excuse me a moment, folks. Clam. Thank you. I've never had an orc bard. Maybe that is something that we have to work into our campaigns. Clam, don't jump up. You jerk. He's precious. I love him, but sometimes he's just a jerk. Clam. See, and that's what I thought. I have a half orc barbarian, like I was saying with our campaign right now, And we have a Bard NPC that is coming along with us, and he keeps trying to like learn how to play, and he's trying to get taught the loot, and it's just not happening. And I'm like, why don't I give him like a Bodrand or something, like a djembe to carry around, sling it on the side of his horse. All right, let's get a lighter brown for our axe handles. Yeah, this guy might have to get finished up off screen. I don't think I'm gonna get him finished tonight. But I will post photos of him to the Insta, as always. Not as always. I try to remember. I do. I'm just not very good. Chaos Beastmen. That just sounds destructive, Shark. I don't think Mothers of America would very much like the Chaos Beastmen. Come on. Surely you guys can hear him throwing a riot in the background, right? Clem! Chill. And he squeaks. I don't know why he squeaks, guys. Like, I haven't had a cat that squeaked. I've had ones that make no noise or meow. He's just, I don't know. He's just special. He's so special. Animal parts, humanoid bodies, animal heads and teeth. They're probably pretty cool. They do sound a lot of fun to paint. I will give you that. Let's make this guy's boots black too. Just make it easy. So we'll paint this guy's boots, and then we might call it a night. Shark, I think I want that on a shirt. It's all good with Chaos Beastmen. Clem, we don't jump over the paint. Yeah, we will finish up this guy's boots and I'll go. I need to apparently run this guy in circles a little bit before bedtime because he's way too riled up. Just too much. Too much for a little kiddo. But I think he's looking pretty good, guys. So yeah, I think maybe after work tomorrow I'll sit down, I'll finish him up, do a little bit of his bag and things there and get some shading on him, but he's so goofy and I love him so much. All right, guys. Well, again, I know it was a short stream today, about an hour and a half. But you know, working chicks gotta work. But I love talking with you guys. I love seeing you all here. Probably we'll do another live stream next week along with the video. Until then, I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend and an easy week and get some painting done. And take care.